Hey everybody, my name's Corey Farrell.
And I'm Josh Groom.
And welcome to the Brown Carpet Podcast. If this is your first time listening...
then this is a podcast where we take two weird news stories...
and turn them into shitty, but hopefully funny movie pitches.
After the show goes live, we're going to chuck the two new movie titles up on Twitter as a poll.
And you can choose which one you'd brownlight. We'd love it if you liked the show, that you subscribed on iTunes and left a review.
Or add us through whatever format you listen to this on.
And you can also follow us on Twitter at the Brown Carpet Pod or our Facebook page.
Now let's get into the show.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
He jumped over 3 linebackers in midair, sprouted headfirst like a gazelle.
No one laughs at a master of quack fool.
Real nice.
Many have died from starvation due to the difficulty of finding enough food, such as sealed duck.
No more Mr. Nice Duck. That's it. Right, Mr. Sitz?
What do you make of that? You know, it's the most fantastic story I've ever heard.
The Brown Carpet Podcast.
So, Josh, do you want to paper, rock, scissors for who goes first?
Let's do paper, rock, scissors. You ready to go? 1, 2.
Okay, you go first
shit.
again.
I think I went first last week.
Yeah, you always go first.
Good at paper, rock, scissors. Okay, so my news story for this week is
I can see it.
has a fairly catch your eye type of headline. The headline is "Dwarf stripper gets bride-to-be pregnant on her hen's night." So you know I was interested from the get-go.
That little... Oh, I can't say stuff, yeah.
That's sus. I just, mate. Okay, here we go. So, a bride-to-be had to confess to having sex with a dwarf stripper on her hen night when she gave birth to a child with dwarfism. It was only when the baby was born that her husband discovered the fling. Until that point, he thought the child his wife was carrying was his. Eventually, the woman from Valencia, Spain, broke down and confessed. The paper quoted a source as saying neither her closest female friends or her family knew that she had had sex with the stripper. Once she had her son in her arms, she broke down and to confess to what had happened. As you can imagine, no one that sleeps with a stripper at her hen's night broadcasts it, or at least they try to take that secret to the grave. So,
So she had a little fling.
Yeah. So, in short, that's what went down.
So okay, hit me. What's the title?
So the title of my film to be is Kevin the Compact Cocksman. So this is the story of Kevin.
So his name is Kevin.
His name is Kevin.
Yeah.
And it's the story of Kevin to be played by everybody's favourite dwarf. Can you pick it? It's Peter Dinklage, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
There is no better walking dwarf in the industry today.
Oh, the other guy.
Mini-Me.
No.
He's too old for this.
No, the dude from Life's Too Short.
Again, too old, mate.
Okay, cool. Yep.
It's Dinklage.
All right. Sorry.
So he's Big Kev to his mates. He's a 20-something dwarf stripper living the hedonistic dream. He's quick-witted, dirty dancing, smooth-talking, sexual juggernaut. The opening of the film sees Kev at the height of his powers, and the pun was intended there.
Yep.
It's a room full of tipsy ladies at a hen's party, and they turn their attention to the makeshift stage in the corner of a strewn RSL club. Through the tattered curtains bursts Kev, and the girls go fucking nuts. At first, there are screams of laughter, but before long, the fact that he's 4 foot tall is forgotten. He's a mini-me Magic Mike. The guy can dance, he's charismatic, smouldering big brown eyes, and all the ladies are in a flutter. For the next 10 minutes, we watch a montage of a month of Kevin's weekends. He's dancing his way across hotel rooms, clubs, bars, boardrooms, and bedrooms as he plies his trade. And his success rate with the ladies is unprecedented. Because of the stigma around sleeping with a stripper, let alone dwarf, his conquests happen in some weird places. Fire escapes, janitor's closets, toilet cubicles, and in the back seat of his shitty Holden. However, outside of stripping, his life is very different. His best mate is a suicide-obsessed Hambone. I'm thinking Jonah Hill can play Hambone. He's a fatagram from the same...
He's lost a lot of weight. He looks good.
He's going to have to put it back on for this role. Okay, so he's a fatagram from the novelty strip company that Kev works at, and he's both morbidly obese and morbidly depressed. They sit in coffee shops and swap stories of humiliation and questionable conquests. When Kevin isn't strutting his stuff in a sparkly G-string, his life is empty and sad. He lives out of his car,
Yep.
an absolute piece of shit Holden that he somehow keeps running with this MacGyver-like ingenuity. He spends his days working a series of embarrassing gigs to make a buck, dwarf tossing, Oompa Loompa parties, circus work and other degrading endeavours. He lives for the weekend where he's king, but everything's about to change. Kev gets a phone call informing him that he is the father of a newborn dwarf from a wife-to-be at a hen's party late last year. The newly divorced couple don't want to keep the tiny little girl, so Kev must make a big decision. Kev takes on this newfound responsibility and we watch him slowly transition from dick-swinging man-child to responsible daddy. He moves in with Hambone, who provides support and some black comedy relief. They're the new odd couple with a baby. diaper changes, baby monitor mix-ups, and sleep deprivation laughs. Through it, Hambone finds a new lease on life. This baby is now his reason to live. And our story ends with Kev landing a job as a mechanic, where he can earn a secure, non-dwarf-related wage. His years of training, his years of keeping that piece of shit Holden finally coming in handy. So basically, it's a goofy, dwarf-driven sex romp on the surface, Trojan horsing, a powerful comedy of a boy becoming a man.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love how far back into that character you went. I feel like I know Kevin.
Yeah.
And I feel for him.
I think we all know a little Kevin.
Yeah.
In a way, so I've got a couple of posted taglines. I couldn't settle on one.
Yeah,
I got 3 of them.
Okay.
So my first one is: "This ain't no fairy tale, but you will get a happy ending."
Go again.
I've also got 3 feet high and twerking.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a list from the day last. You're not into
No. Yeah.
All right. And the final one: if Dick was a drug, he'd sell it by the gram, which is a lift from the Vanilla Ice lyric.
Yeah.
Not the first time I'm going to.
I like the first one.
You like the first one?
Yeah.
This ain't no fairy tale, but you will get a happy ending.
So you've cast it?
I've cast it. The only other thing to say is, this is an indie film. I could do this for less than $1 million.
Yep.
This is there's no special effects involved.
No.
It's a straight character study on Big Kev and Hambone, basically their relationship.
I feel like it's like a wrestler type movie. You know, the wrestler with like what's his face?
Yeah, with Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke.
It is,
but like even more, lo-fi.
Shit starts off loose and it gets a little serious towards the end. It's a bit of a tearjerker.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a coming of age where he starts off coming on stage and ends off coming of age.
What about the soundtrack?
I hadn't really thought about the soundtrack. I actually thought I'd come to you for that. What do you feel? Obviously, you don't want all your stripper standbys, like the Genuine's Pony is going to work.
Yeah.
All the stripping standards. But,
definitely.
Then shit gets a bit serious, so I was thinking, maybe some Radiohead, something, a bit deep and dark for the end.
Yeah.
As he finds himself as a man.
Yeah, I love it.
You do?
That was a really complete story.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate that.
A bit too long.
It was a bit too long.
But it's good.
What do you got? You got some.
Okay, so my headline is I'm not drunk, I'm a time traveler. And it's basically it happened. Police in Casper, Wyoming, which I don't know, named after the ghost, arrested a man for public intoxication. Mm-hmm. Problem was his excuse was he was a time traveler from the year 2048.
Oh, I've always
and
used
aliens had forced him to drink. So, it's a pretty good excuse, I reckon.
It's not bad.
He said that he'd been in the year 2048 and aliens had forced him to imbibe, which is a wanky word for drink.
Imbibe?
Yeah, whoever's wrote this article is really, that's their word for the day. They got up in the morning and they went, how can it's put imbibe and
It sounds like a made-up word.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, so not only did they force him to drink, but that drinking gave him the power to go back in time. So he figured, why not?
Drinking did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he figured, why not come back to present day Casper, Wyoming, and warn the residents that aliens were arriving next year. So
Sweet
in
Jesus.
2018.
This is like some 12 monkey shit. I've already lost track of the timeline. Where are we?
He starts in present day. He goes to 2048.
Okay.
Gets drunk with some aliens, or they kidnap him to that time.
Okay.
He travels back
in time. Okay.
All right. Let me explain. Okay. All right.
Break it down.
So, mild-mannered non-drinker and sci-fi nerd David Green, played by James Franco, is on his way to the comic book store where he's kidnapped by a group of tall grey alien frat boys.
Okay.
Hang
on, what's the title of your film?
Oh, shit. Sorry. Okay. I've got 3 titles. So you go 2048 and Off My Face Odyssey.
Yeah, that's good.
Or Drunk Schlub Time Machine. Or the last one is Drinker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Drinker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, you like
That's
it?
Good.
Okay,
That's
cool.
really good.
I'll roll with that.
I like it a lot.
Mild-mannered non-drinker and sci-fi nerd David Green, James Franco, is on his way to the comic book store when he's kidnapped by a group of tall grey alien frat boys.
Okay.
They are members of the infamous intergalactic fraternity Alpha Alpha Centauri.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to David, he has basically found himself at the centre of an initiation hazing ritual and is terrified for his life.
As he would be.
Now back in Alpha Alpha Centauri, which is the alien frat house, which is on a planet in a distant universe. Mm-hmm. The year is 2048. So
he's jumped forward in time.
He has, because the time it takes to get to that place, that's how much time's passed through physics and Einstein equations. He's aged. He's old.
Oh, so he's aged like...
No, he hasn't
40
aged.
years.
He has not aged.
Well, which one is it, mate?
He hasn't. He's travelled through time, but because of alien technology, he hasn't aged.
Okay.
You just got to trust me on this one.
All right.
The tall grey aliens start forcing alcohol down Green's throat as soon as he's out the house. Firstly, it's against his will. He's not a drinker. But as the night progresses, he loosens up. He gets increasingly intoxicated and he starts enjoying himself.
Are they going to probe him?
I think that is their intention.
Okay.
The tall greys also warm to their captive and start divulging their secrets. So they get drunk. They're like, you know what? You want to know something? They start,
Oh, the aliens are getting sloshy.
Aliens are peacocking.
Okay.
And most notably, their secret is that Trump is really a shape-shifting lizard from the orange planet Narcissudo.
I fucking knew it.
And that they plan on pouncing on Earth in 2018 after the Great Nuke War. They reveal that Trump and a friend of Dennis Rodman will engage in a humanity-destroying nuclear war after a heated game of golf goes wrong, a.k.a. Trump loses.
Yeah.
It is at this point that Green starts dancing uncontrollably, partly due to the futuristic alien music, but mostly due to the alien beer that has been forced down his throat.
Okay.
Suddenly, Green realizes he no longer has control of himself and dances himself into hurricane-like frenzy, only to come to in the middle of the road, present day, in the small town of Casper, Wyoming.
He's gone back in time.
He's come back to the present.
Okay.
You're really struggling with the time.
The timeline is very confusing.
I'm not completely sure of it either.
Okay.
It is then he tries to convince the local police that not only is he a time traveller, but he has a message that could save mankind.
Right.
So cast James Franco plays the main character. The tall grey alien frat boys are Will Ferrell, Owen Wilson and Mark Wahlberg. And the local cop is Paulie Shaw.
Yeah, nice.
The soundtrack is from the music of the 90s American rock band Alien Ant Farm, except all the vocals have the Stephen Hawking effect on them. My tagline, I've got 2 taglines.
Did Alien Ant Farm release any other music apart from that one Michael Jackson cover?
I don't know.
Okay, cool.
I'm hoping. So my first tagline is, saving the planet just got burp. Like a drunken burp.
Yep.
So that was not a good response. The next one is...
If you'd done the burp, I probably would have been more on board.
I know, sorry. I can't
Can you burp
I can't burp on Will.
Oh.
Or the next one is, ever had a hangover from out of this world? And they're both pretty poor.
It's just cheesy enough to be likable.
So yeah, basically that's my one for today.
I like it.
Yeah?
I think James Franco would play a very, very good, extraordinarily hungover lunatic.
Yeah.
I think that's great casting.
And he's just going to have glasses on and then lose the glasses to be less nerdy. So he starts off with glasses. He's the nerdy guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just the what's that fucking movie with the girl that's like hot but she has glasses on. And then she...
Legally Blonde?
No. Then she takes the glasses off and she's hot. And they're like, oh...
That's like every single...
It is.
Yeah.
So let's recap. What was your film?
No, well, first of all, before I consider your film, being green...
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, okay, sorry.
How much is this shit going to cost? Because it feels like there's a lot of special effects.
$10,000.
Jesus.
That's all I need.
It's going to be some budget piece of shit.
It's just going to...
You don't want it to look amazing?
Point and shoot. Just...
How are you doing up these aliens? Like, how's Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg going to appear to us? What is the... Like, they're going to be in heavy makeup now. Are you just going to put a bit of sparkle on their nose?
Just your carnival face paint.
So you're really
cheap.
Okay.
Really cheap. Most of the money's going to go to me directing by director fee.
Sure.
So $8,000 for me to direct it.
$2,000.
$2,000 for miscellaneous.
Cocaine.
Okay, so we've got 2 films. What was your film, Josh?
Kevin the Compact Cocksman.
And what was mine? Drinker's Guide to the Galaxy, the one you decided.
Drinker's Guide to the Galaxy.
You can choose which one you want to brown light. If you jump onto @BrownCarpetPod on Twitter, we'll put a poll up and you just literally vote on which one you want to brown light.
And what does the winner get, apart from glory? And...
I think when we get this going, the winner will be first to go next week. Maybe the winner goes first. Yeah?
That's quite an honour.
And maybe Josh can cut his synopsis down to like an hour
Fuck's
next week. Anyway, that's episode 2 of the Brown Carpet Podcast. Please, it would mean a lot if you reviewed and rated us. Even if you don't like us, just leave a shitty rating.
Just give us 5 stars. No, don't leave a shitty rating.
Oh, no. Give us a good rating. That's what we want.
Why would you tell them to leave a shitty rating?
And tell your friends about us. Cool.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
See you.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Jumped over 3 linebackers in midair, sprouted pancakes like a gazelle.
No one laughs at a master of quack fool.
Real nice. Many have died from starvation due to the difficulty of finding enough food, such as sealed nuts.
No more Mr. Nice Duck. That's it. Right, Mr. Sitz?
What do you make of that? It's the most fantastic story I've ever heard.
The Brown Carpet Podcast.